presents this program in color.
And now a man with more power plays than the Vegas Golden Knights. It's Roger the Wild Child.
Let's get this party started! Ready, set, go!
On the air everywhere.
It's the Roger the Wild Child Show!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Roger the Wild Child here, along with Star, Jimmy Knight, and Hollywood. How are y'all doing today? We have another jam-packed, exciting episode. This is double episode week, right here on the Roger the Wild Child Show.
It's the Roger the Wild Child Show!
Hey guys, how y'all doing? It is Sunday. We are at our new day and time. Well, same time, just a different date. How is everybody all doing on a Sunday night? And Jimmy Knight, what's happening, bud?
I got sunburned today because I was outside. It was 86 degrees today in Illinois, at least where I live. And yeah, it was really, really hot. And I was doing a lot of yard
tomorrow it'll
work.
be -6.
Tomorrow, yeah, the rest of the week looks mid-50s and back to suck weather. So
Right.
It was a taste of summer this weekend. And of course, we were all outside getting sun. And yes, there was about an hour period today where I didn't think I was going to make this because I thought I had heat exhaustion.
Oh my gosh.
I was in bed sleeping. So, but I'm good now. And I know Star is just happy about that.
You look like a lobster.
I do. It's red and yeah, and I have a shaved head. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm doing good. Good to be here. Happy Sunday. I'm glad we're on our new day and time.
Exactly. Star, how's it going?
Awesome. We're doing amazing.
And why are you feeling amazing?
Well, I got to go out and have lunch with the most incredible guy today.
Woo!
Call it brunch.
Wow. Please
Wow.
do tell.
Yeah. I ordered a great big Reuben, and he gave me a bite of his loaded macaroni and cheese.
Wait,
Brisket.
wait. She just said.
Wait, how did you know that? How
on the
did
beginning-
you know that?
at the beginning of the show not to talk innuendos, and she just said, "I'm gonna stop."
Well, it was an awesome lunch. It was good to meet your stepfather and your friend and everything. So glad we were all able to get together today.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
And that would be Kent. Remember Kent, Jim? And Hollywood, he popped up on our show on
Yes,
Star's
I do.
first
I do.
episode.
Yes, I do.
And he
Kent
was on the screen.
awesome.
We're like, all right, we're just going to keep him on the show.
Yeah, Kent was awesome. Where is
There are
Kent?
no
I thought he was going to
boots
be on the show.
involved. There were no boots involved in my date this afternoon.
No, no boots.
Those are the lunch dates that we want.
Right?
Not a great big Reuben.
Like great big Reuben. Just took a big juicy bite out of that thing.
Hollywood, how are you? We're going to move on to you before it gets
Have
worse.
you had any Reubens lately, Hollywood?
This has been kind of a crazy week. Found out I have an inner ear infection. And
Oh, no.
every time I get in my car, the whole world spins. It's been insane.
Well, that's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that,
road.
Everything's been really good.
I'm
I've
fine
had a
till I
really
get
good
in.
week.
I'm fine till I get in my car and everything spins, but then I just drive.
Oh yeah. And being around a lot of people at one time when they're all walking, it's just insane. Like everything's spinning.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know how that I managed to get an inner ear infection, but I did. And
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Well,
Is there
last week
pain
you were
but
off
I'm
your
on
feet, and
antibiotics.
now
I
you
went
have
to
an
the
ear
doctor,
infection.
and it's going away. Yes,
Is it just vertigo or is there pain?
pain. It hurts.
Okay.
A lot of vertigo, and it's pain. Yeah. Now I
Yeah.
understand why babies cry so much when they have
Right,
an infection.
okay.
That was like
Wow.
I'm walking around like this all day. Yeah.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Well, today we got an exciting episode. We got two amazing guests. Our first guest is the former Playboy Centerfold and Covergirl from 1990, and she is now a successful insurance businesswoman in the top 5% of her industry. We're going to talk with Deborah Driggs. Also, Darlene, I'm assuming I'm going to pronounce the name right. Dalmaceda, is that right, Hollywood?
No, I think it's Dalmaceda. I'm not sure. You have to ask her for sure.
I have to ask her. Anyway, she's an indie film producer, actor, director, and screenwriter. She's going to talk to us about her journey through the film industry and be talking to us about one of her latest projects. So that's what's going to be coming up here in the next hour. So I'd like to welcome our first guest to the show. She was a Playboy Centerfold and Covergirl for 1990. But now her journey is she's in business. She's in insurance and she's in the top of her industry. I'd like to welcome Deborah Driggs to the show. Deborah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Hey, people. Hey, people.
Hi, Deborah.
All these crazy people. Hi. Hello. Yes, I'm here. Yes, everyone's going 1990. You know, that seems like a really, like, what? I mean, two of the hosts on the show weren't even born yet. So there we go. That's where we're starting.
I did want to tell you that I didn't tell you this when we were in the show before we started the show. I graduated high school in 1990. I worked at a convenience store, and let's just say the rack of magazines was behind the convenience store. So I know you pretty good. Nice to meet you.
You know, yeah, hi. You're right.
And I actually graduated high school in 1989. So
You all you ding dongs, just relax, okay? I don't need to feel older than I am. Thank you. You know?
I also forgot to say I was.
My whole thing is about aging gracefully is a full-time job. It's a full-time job when I have like guys like you that are like, oh, I was in high school when I had your issue. I was like, thank you.
Oh, I never bought it.
No, because he worked at a convenience store and he
borrowed it.
Gave it to her as a gift. Yeah.
So, Deborah, tell us a little bit about your journey. I know that you basically, when you started off, when you were younger, you were a latchkey kid, right? So, I mean, you were bullied as a little kid and so forth. So, let's go back to Deborah in her younger years and then lead us up to where you're at right now.
Oh, that's easy. That's so easy because I'm 57 now. So let's just start in my younger years and get the audience to where I am now at 57. Hey, thank you. That's an easy task. I'm up
Tell us
for
your
the
life
challenge.
story.
Thank you. I'm up for the challenge. Yeah. So, you know, the deal is that I was born and raised in Southern California, and I, you know, because I had this opportunity to do Playboy, I had already been modeling and doing commercials, and they brought me in and for a magazine called the Lingerie Book, and they said, hey, we want you for the cover of this, yada, yada, yada. Cut to, I get a call that day saying, we want you to be a centerfold. And I was like, I think you made a mistake. You got the wrong girl. Like, I didn't aspire to be in the magazines of Playboy. And so I called my agent and she's like, yeah, no, they want you to be a centerfold. And I was like, are you sure? Like, they got this right? Because, you know, I didn't see myself as a centerfold, and that wasn't what I was aspiring to do. I was an actress. I had already been modeling. And so here we go. I'm on the Playboy. You know, all of a sudden I have this opportunity, which today I'm so grateful for, because when I shot my layout, it was in 1989, and Playboy at that time was the #1 magazine in the world.
Right, Hugh Hefner's magazine.
Yeah, thank you. Hugh Hefner's magazine. And so #1 magazine in the world. So when I went and asked everybody, like, what do you think? Do you think I should do this? They were like, absolutely. So sexy. You got to do it. So in 1989, I shot, and nothing went in that magazine without going by head first. So when he saw my test, he was like, yes, I want her to be a Playmate. And then I continued to test and ended up gracing the pages in March of 1990. And then I was on the cover of April 1990. And so I say that because it's so like, what it was a whirlwind. It was like, oh my God,
Your whole life changed at that moment.
Everything changed. Everything changed because back then it was a lot different. There was no Google. There was no internet. And I know that's really hard for some of our listeners that are going, what are you talking about? I don't get it. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about is that you couldn't Google me back then. And so here I am, I do Playboy, and you couldn't Google me. You couldn't look me up. That didn't happen till 10 years later. And so I don't know, it's a big deal, to do what I did, and then to have the internet now, it's like it exploded. Mm-hmm. And then to have the President of the United States be on the cover of the issue that I'm the centerfold of, it's like, what? Now my issue is a collector's item, and I get more fan mail today than I ever did when I did the magazine. So you got to know that wherever you stand on the political platform, I don't care. That's just my history. Donald Trump is on the cover of my issue. Super proud of it. I don't care where you stand. It's like, there you go. Thank you.
There it is.
There it is.
And
I remember that issue well.
Did you take a picture were you with Trump in the photo, or was it like superimposed?
Okay, so here we go. Everybody thinks that's me. That's Brandy Brandt, although I know for a fact she would be really happy today if I took credit, because she wants absolutely nothing to do with the fact that she's on the cover with Donald Trump, and I'm super happy to take that credit. She's trying to sell these magazines. She's like, I want nothing to do, and I'm like, I'll take the credit. So that's my centerfold issue. The next month, I'm on the cover.
Nice.
Of April.
Hey, I don't. Yeah, I don't understand why she wouldn't want anything to do with that. That's history.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is what it is.
That's her choice. She's just not a fan of Trump.
No, I get it. It's just,
I don't care.
It's history.
I'm like, it's history. It's my history, and it's made my issue a collector's item. And I'm like, hello. Who knew? For me, I think there's something really cool about that. It's like, oh my God, Donald Trump is on the cover of my issue, bitches. Everybody watch out.
How many, geez, I can't think today. I'm tired. So how many do you have? How many do you own?
How many do I own?
Yeah.
I own about 25.
Okay.
And I own about 100 of my cover issue, because my cover issue is like, what are the chances that I would be on the cover the next month? That's another thing. It's like, I'm the centerfold of March, and I'm on the cover of 90, and it's like April 90, and it's like the chances of that it's like, that's so unbelievable. So that is so crazy. So I have about 100 of my cover issues, because my cover, it's so hard to get on the cover of Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I was shooting my issue, and going through, we could be here all night if I told all my stories. But basically, when I was shooting, Playboy was the #1 magazine in the world. And so, can you imagine I'm a centerfold and now I'm on the cover? It's like,
wow.
How much does an issue of your centerfold go for these days? Do you know?
I'm hearing through the grapevine that the centerfold issue with the Donald Trump cover is going from about is going for about 200.
Wow.
200 to 300 an issue. And I went on eBay to try and because I try to buy a few a month because I know that as it's like anything, as you get older, it becomes more valuable. And I thought I should just start buying one or two a month. And they're like $200-$300 for that issue.
And I'm sure it's going to go up over time, right?
Absolutely. With
there
him
you
being
go.
on the cover.
Yeah, in 2024, baby.
That's right. Star, did you want to chime in on this?
Wah, 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 wah. Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
Wah, 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 wah.
Well, I didn't expect you to ask me a question right then. So I'm just thinking deeper when you're talking. I'm just imagining you at the age you were and how that affected and impacted your life, and how now today, having Trump be president and then having it be booming again, like all this, publicity is kind of coming back to you, how those two experiences paralleled each other and were different from each other as well. How you responded back then versus how you're responding now, and your whole philosophy on what that meant to you.
So great. That's such a great question. Great insight, Star. She is with us. She's listening quietly. I love that. So here's the deal. So, when I did Playboy, I was 25 years old. By the way, I was older to be doing Playboy because the girls were 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And here I am, 25. I was like the fucking PTA mother or something. It was like, what, I'm 25, and I was like over the hill. And then cut to, here I am now, I'm 57 and Trump's president. And isn't it funny how life comes full circle? Now all of a sudden my issue is like this, like everybody wants. And everybody wants my autograph, and I'm getting more fan mail today than back then. I didn't know. Who knew that Trump was going to be the president of the United States? I mean,
well, allegedly the Simpsons knew, but
probably not even Trump knew.
He knew.
No.
He knew, and so it's just like the universe is like always working for us. Like I'm like, isn't that cool? I'm in that issue. Everybody, woohoo! Like,
how has it impacted your business world now? Because obviously you started in that world, then you transitioned to a more business world, and now this comes back full circle to where this episode or this issue, I keep calling him episode, this issue comes back because he's on the cover. How is that impacted in your business world right now?
In my business world, nobody cares.
Nobody
cares.
Good.
Going from being
nobody. Go ahead.
So it's separated.
Going from being a Playboy model to an insurance agent. How does that work for you?
So not sexy at all.
Back then when you hit your fame and you got on that.
I'd like to sell you insurance. It's not sexy. It's not sexy at all. And so that's kind of my thing, right? It's like, how do you go from being this Playboy cover girl to being in the top 5% of a business that if somebody told me, oh, you're going to be in the top 5% of your business, this is what you're going to do, I would have been like, you're on glue. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know nothing about that. But here we are, like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And I did become really successful doing that. And it's because I really cared about people, but had nothing to do with Playboy or whatever. It's just that, when people ask me, when they find out if I did Playboy, they're like, you were in Playboy? Wait a second. What? And I'm like, yeah, but that's such a small part of who I am. Right?
Yeah.
That is like, if you really, and by the way, I'm 57. I did Playboy when I was 25. Let's think about the math here. what's really impressive is that I have been able to sustain this wave, so to speak. I've been able to stay on the wave of, wow, she still looks good, for 57. She's smart. She's not just this girl that did it for 1 month and disappeared. I had a big career.
Right, but you also had a little wave going on here too, Deborah. So, I mean, yes, you were up here when you were doing Playboy, but then you eventually got married, you had kids, and things kind of went downhill for you at the same time.
Absolutely. So that's the whole thing, is that everything went downhill. I went down to the bottom of the bottom. I was literally going, I remember just sitting one day going, how did I end up here? At the in my mind at that time, it was like, I'm at the bottom I'm in like the quicksand, which was pulling me down fast. No money, no fame. Nobody gave a shit of what my past was. And, and I had to rebuild. I had to start over. And, people go, oh, yeah, but it's easy for you because you had something to. No, I had to totally remove myself from my past and try to become a legitimate person in business. I had to say, no, take me seriously. And there's a big, I have a sense of humor and I'm funny. I hope that comes across. But when I'm down in my, nothing's happening. I'm on my knees and I'm like begging for work. I didn't say, hey, by the way, I was on the cover of Playboy magazine. Nobody gave a shit.
Right. You didn't mix the two. Your whole life, your new life is your new life.
Yes. So everything got separated and I had to really dive in on what it was like to be in the business world.
Now let's go back to your family life, because I know that you got divorced, and then you ended up raising your 3 kids, being a single mother, and so that was probably the biggest struggle that you were dealing with. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I absolutely. When you kind of look back, it's funny because I say this all the time, that my growth spiritually and emotionally doesn't come in the time of success. It came in the time of total failure. That's when my growth really started to happen. And my growth really started to happen when I got divorced, because for the first time in my life, I really failed at something. I failed at a marriage. I failed at, what I thought was what my life was going to give to me instead of what I was going to give to life. I had no concept, and so I completely went down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, poor me. And, and so, yeah, I got divorced.
And beating yourself up over it too.
Totally beating myself up over it. And
so how old were you and how many kids? How old were you and how many kids?
I got divorced when I was 40 and I had 3 children. And I had no tools whatsoever to deal with that emotional struggle, or I had nothing. Like, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't, it's like the things that I preach today, seem so easy because I do them. But at the time, they were devastating. I just didn't even want to. I didn't want to take another breath of air. I didn't know what you don't know. And I'm 40 years old and I had gotten to 40 really easy, really, to be honest with you. I had everything going for me. Anything I wanted to do, It was like, okay, came easy. And the minute I got divorced and now I have 3 kids, it was like nothing came easy to me. And now I had to work. And I really had to start over at the age of 40 and really was brought to my knees on how to do that, how to work and be in business and raise 3 kids. And oh my God, it was really overwhelming. And
how old are they now?
Some people are going to go, oh my God, she's that typical girl that's not what it was. It was like I literally was on my fucking knees, walking dogs, working on boats, cleaning toilets. Like this was no
just
joke.
Being a normal, typical person,
no money.
like anybody else out there.
Money.
I think you're an inspiration for a lot of other women, though, because I was literally wrapping my arms around a 40-year-old that just got pregnant, has 3 kids. Her ex is suing her for custody today down in Boise. Well, she cried on my shoulder. She's where you were. And so I think if women can see, look, this beautiful cover girl who was amazing has lived through this and gone through this and survived it, and take from you some of those lessons, it's going to really help their self-esteem and help them overcome the things they're going through, because it is a huge trauma and different people cope with it in different ways, and they aren't always healthy. And this is the age range I'm in right now. I just got divorced at 37. I had 8 kids. So, I know a lot of women in this situation. So I think, you could offer a lot of insight into how you overcame that, and let them know that it's not being beautiful and rich at one point in your life doesn't necessarily make this trauma it's the same trauma, no matter who you are. And that's going to help them feel stronger and more empowered to get through it,
Well, you say it very eloquently, is that it doesn't matter who I am.
Right. I mean, it was just a job. I mean,
so tell us, like, maybe 3 of the strongest, the 3 of the things that you learned going through that, and 3 of the tools you used to get yourself out of that situation and just persevere. Like, are there 3 words that come to, like, do you have a favorite word that you clung on to at that time, or do you have a favorite thing that helped you, a tool that helped you through that?
I have a lot of tools now, which is really great, because back then I had no tools. And
so if you could reach back and give that to yourself, what would you give yourself? What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to only look at my side of the street.
That's so
to
good.
To get on my knees and ask for guidance, to humble myself to being guided.
And that's hard to do when you're mad at God, You're going through that big of a challenge.
Or whoever you believe in. Some people don't believe in God.
Or the universal truth, or whatever. You're feeling like that's all against you, right?
Exactly. So to sit down and go, universe, God, ocean, air, whatever
humble
it is.
Yourself.
Humble yourself to say, give me guidance. Show me what it looks like to be a really good ex-wife. Show me what it looks like to be a great mom. Show me what it looks like to be this. Show me what it looks like to be a great businesswoman. Instead of thinking that you know all the answers, to ask and learn and grow. Because the whole point of life is to continually grow and learn to contribute, right? And when we think we know all the answers, we absolutely don't. And that was my biggest mistake, is that I thought I could fix everything. I'm not God. I'm not the universe. I'm not the ocean. It's like to be humble enough to go, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to grow and learn to find them. And that changed my whole life, really.
That's awesome. That is incredible.
That's why I say the growth really takes place in your failures. It doesn't take place. So what? I was the top 5% in 2011, 12, and 13. I had these great years of success, but the real growth took place in my deepest, darkest failures. That's where the growth spiritually and emotionally took place.
Because you learn from your experiences in life.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
important to
Yeah.
know that this is a process. Like I told my friend today, it's like if a bomb got dropped on a country and then you have to rebuild that city. So don't expect yourself to be there overnight. It's going to take a while to rebuild yourself to where you can, be successful and be where you are. It didn't happen that day, but it took a process.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's how I feel about my life. It's like, I take this day by day, sometimes minute by minute. I get quiet. My routine now is that of I have a morning routine, a middle day routine, and a night routine. And the people say, do you deviate at all from that? And I go, I do sometimes, but really, I really stick to the way I do things because I see how it benefits in business. I see how my business gets better when I'm more aligned with what I believe and what I value. It's
And
So
how do
you
you
learn
look at
to be
yourself?
quiet, ask, receive, and believe in what you receive. Believe in that inspiration, then act on it after you receive it. But the humbling is that you have to ask, and then you have to be willing to listen, and then you have to be willing to act on it, is what I hear you saying. And then your steps are guided one step at a time.
Thank you. Amen.
So how
That's
does
amazing.
Deborah view herself to this day?
Well, I am 57 years old. I view myself as a woman who has aged really gracefully. And I say that aging gracefully is a full-time job. And
It sure
I
is. You're not kidding.
it is. It's a fucking full-time job.
Hollywood and I get it.
If you do it correctly, it is. Because it's like I really look at all aspects of my life because all of that stuff is how I'm aging, and I'm really cognizant of how I'm aging. And when I take it as a huge compliment when people meet me and they go, "There's no fucking way you're 57 years old," and I go,
I would not
Okay.
have thought of that when I first saw you. No.
"Yeah, so I'm doing something right that." People immediately cannot believe my age. So I'm doing something right. And that's one of the things that I don't do it as to get a pat on the back. I do it as to show other girls, stop doing all this crazy stuff and just be your authentic self. You don't need to inject or do whatever. I find that I am getting sexier with age.
There you go.
And that is really, seriously, when I was doing Playboy and I was doing all that stuff, I had a very limited feeling about myself where today I feel today, if I did Playboy, watch out. I'd be like,
I always said that I feel sexy
we
about
need to
myself.
do
I
that.
think about that song by Right Said Fred.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Listen, I am amazed
I'm
that
going to take a
this
swig of my vodka.
this story is your story is great. I mean, I'm amazed how there's a lot of people in your situation when you did Playboy and then after Playboy things kind of started not working out. A lot of people in your situation would be like, why can't I just go back to when I was in Playboy and life? And what's amazing is you didn't go down that route. You went down the route of let me get my shit in order and figure out where I'm going and be my best self and do it. You didn't complain.
Exactly.
You didn't be like, but I was in Playboy. You kind of just said, no, I did it. It was a job. I did it. It happened. I moved on and bad things happened. And now I am who I am. It's an amazing story.
Exactly.
Hearing you tell
Thank
it
you.
is just amazing. So
Thank you.
It
is like, how do you go from, in any situation, you see all these
Yeah.
people and God bless.
Yeah, I had a question about when you did Playboy and then you moved, Playboy was done. What did you want to do back then compared to now? So you're shooting Playboy, you're 25 years old, Playboy's over. What did you see yourself doing next at that time?
Well, so I was already in the entertainment world of acting and modeling. And so Playboy came at a time when I already had agents and I was already doing that. So for me, I really wanted to pursue the acting. And I was in a 2-year acting program, and I really felt like I was in this momentum of like, well, Playboy is just going to be that added advantage of like moving me or propelling me forward to my aspirations of being an actress. And so that's where I was at that time. And then I met my husband in an acting class, and he had been in the Olympics. He was an athlete. And we met in acting class in 1989, and we started dating in 1991, got married in 92. And then we had 3 children back to back. And so my career kind of got put on. And when I look back on
burner.
it, which is really interesting to me to look back on that, because I always think to myself, wow, isn't that interesting how I allowed, because it was my career, right? And I allowed it to kind of get put on hold.
And that was your
When
choice.
really, that was my choice, but really, that exactly right. It was my choice, but it didn't have to be that way, and it was, because for some reason in my head I thought I can't have kids and do this, and and I was a full-time mom, and
you wanted to be a positive role model for your kids, and so it was time to put that chapter to a close and be the next generation of Deborah.
Yeah. But looking back now, I'm like, wow, I could have done both. Maybe. Who knows? I'm one of those people that doesn't like to do the what if game, what if? I don't like to do that, because I always feel like everything in life brings you to where you're supposed to be.
Do you have any desire to do acting now?
And it's interesting you asked me that, because I have the same agent to this day that I had when I was 24.
Wow.
I have this. I've never switched. He's the same. We have a meeting tomorrow, actually, and to kind of work on where we think what direction my career should go in. And so we'll see. I don't know about acting, so to speak, but I can still do commercials and still do,
modeling too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Have you seen me?
Yeah. Jim and I are both radio disc jockeys, right? And so one thing, Jim, is that she was a VJ for Playboy's. She was the first VJ for Hot Rocks.
Okay.
How was that experience
DJ or
for you?
DJ?
VJ.
I don't know. The sad thing is, I don't know what that is.
Video.
What was Hot
What
Rocks?
is a VJ?
Well, VJ is video jockey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for video.
Well, let me explain it to you.
Okay.
Uh-oh, somebody doesn't want her to explain it to us. It's government secrets. She's gone.
Is she gone?
I always love when that happens to somebody. Let me explain what it was, and then it's like, it's like, no, they don't want
I don't know
you
if
to
you can
explain.
hear us, Deborah, but your connection issue is bad. You're freezing up.
Oh, she's gone. They cut her off. Come on, man. Wow, she's fun. I mean, that was it.
But I think the cool
story.
thing about her is that when you hit rock bottom, like Roger calls it in life, or when you hit a big setback like that, she didn't look at it as like, I want a setback, like I want to go back. She just built on what her experience was and moved forward. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really good lesson for like everyone.
Yeah,
Build on. Don't wish, like I could wish I was back in high school at 19 again as a cheerleader, but like I need to pick myself up and move forward from where I'm at and take
Don't
all
wish
those
I was
lessons
ever back in high
I learned
school.
at that. Yeah, but that's basically the age that my career ended, my life ended. And
Oh,
I
she's
got
back.
married.
Oh, look
Oh,
at that.
she's back now.
Lesson, you know?
We
It's a
lost
great
you for a
lesson.
second.
Poor
Ooh,
Darlene.
There you
Like,
go.
oh, no.
You're frozen.
Yay. We're all
missed
excited
me.
and hanging on your
You
words.
missed me. You really, you guys, admit it. You missed me. I was
We
gone for
did.
like
We missed
5
you.
seconds and you missed me. You're like, wait, where'd she go?
Where is she?
Oh
Where is she?
my God. There we were. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So where were we?
We were talking.
Hot Rock.
You're going to explain VJ
And Hot
Yeah.
Rocks.
and
Yeah.
Hot Rock.
Excited to hear
Okay,
this.
so guess what? I was the first VJ for Playboy's Hot Rocks, and which is like if you look at MTV, it's the host for video DJing. It's called a VJ. So I was the video DJ for Hot Rocks, and basically what it was, they came to me and they said, you know, we're going to show videos on the Playboy's Hot Rocks that MTV and it was VH1 was just getting started. So they were like, these are the videos that these networks will not show. We're going to show them. And you're going to be the VJ. And I was like, I'm in, let's do it, you know. And so I did that. That was my first, and I was a kid, you know, but that was such a great experience for me because I got to interview people, the greats like Barry White and, you know, and the rock bands that were popular at the time and Motley Crue and,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, whoever those 80 bands
fun.
were, you know, I wasn't a big, I hate to say this.
Poison.
I know it's such a bad thing for me to say.
Van
but
Halen.
yeah, you know, I wasn't super schooled in, you know, what was going on musically, but when they came in the studio, I did my research and I knew. And you know, we were featured in USA Today, and I was on one of the covers of the newspaper with Rick Rule. He was a roller, and here I am, the host of Playboy's Hot Rocks. And it was like a big deal. It was like,
That's exciting.
you know, I'm in USA Today as this, you know, cutting edge VJ for music videos and giving rock bands. I didn't know it at the time. You know, I really didn't know. You know, you don't understand it when you're a kid. And I was a kid in my 20s, and I didn't really see that I was impacting what was being censored. And here I was like, everything could be on my show, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. I just wanted to, you know, I was trying to up my career. But what I was doing, really, what I was doing was giving these bands and these people a chance to express themselves in an uncensored way. How cool is that today?
Yeah. Especially in
Yeah.
today's world.
Yeah, with cancel culture and everything
Oh, yeah.
like that, you can't say
So
anything
cool.
without mega
Yeah.
censorship
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
There was
So that's
I
what-
didn't have cable, so that's why we weren't allowed to have cable in my household in the 90s, in the early 90s. So that's why I didn't know what Hot Rocks was, because I was like, I didn't have cable. I knew MTV because I was in radio. I wanted to be in radio, so everybody knew what MTV was, and like you said, VH1 was just coming on. But yeah, we weren't allowed to have cable, so I didn't know anything about Hot Rocks. Damn it!
Yeah. And that's what it was. And it was really a place where these bands, and they were famous bands. You know, I
Yeah.
had everybody on my show.
Oh yeah,
From the Red Hot Chili Peppers were on my show because they
Wow.
couldn't get their videos shown on MTV because they were acting too crazy.
Yeah.
So when I look back, like I have all my, you know, it's funny because I just transferred all my stuff from VHS to my, you know,
Oh, so you
laptop.
have all the episodes.
Oh yeah.
Nice. That's a good.
Send them to us so
Yeah,
we
you're
can
gonna
go
have to.
see 'em.
You're gonna have to go to a Dropbox and put them somewhere. At least just one, the debut episode. Or you gotta come back.
We
You
can
gotta
start
come
an
back
action
and
right
show
now.
us.
Hey,
So you-
better. I got you.
So you let your support
$10. Go ahead.
to a number of nonprofits that make a difference in people's lives. Can you tell us about those?
Oh, what a great transition. Woo! Let's just move from censoring video shipped to my philanthropic work. Wow. Wow. People. Okay, here we go. Yes. I used to stand practically nude doing VJ work too. What? What was your question?
Your nonprofit stuff that you worked on, that you helped people with.
Yeah. So, guys, here's the deal. The secret to living is giving. And, in 2011, 12, and 13, I started to do really well in my insurance industry. And I got the bug of it's not all about me. And what can I do to give back? And so one of the first things that I remembered was I had a friend who was an entertainment lawyer, and he was in Africa, and he gave up his whole career in the entertainment lawyer business, blah, blah, blah. And he started a nonprofit to help build schools in these remote areas of Africa, Peru, and blah. And so before I had money, he was reaching out to me, not because I could really help financially, but because he knew that I knew a lot of people and I could help in that way. That's the thing about charity, giving, philanthropic, whatever it is. It's not so much as how much you're giving, but really, sometimes we know people that can, yeah. And so anyway, so I remember that. And when I started doing really well, I went back to him and I said, well, tell me more about what you do. I want to learn more about what you do. And then because I'm a businesswoman,
Talk to your mom.
I said, why don't we insure your charity? Why don't we insure it? So in the event that something happens to you, your charity will always have money and it'll continue. And that was kind of something that I innovatively started doing in 2012 and 13, is that people that had foundations, I was like, hey, did you ever think about if something happens to you, what you want this foundation to be, what the legacy would be? Do you want to leave money to it? By the way, tax-free through life insurance. And so that's kind of how I built my business there. Also, while really contributing, right? So he was like, yeah, let's do that. And so I actually went to Peru with him and saw some of the work that he was doing. And one of the schools that he took me to, I was moved, and I said,
it opened your eyes to a lot of things, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And I said, what can I do right now? What can I do? Can I adopt this school? And he's like, Deborah, if you gave us, whatever it was, this much money a month, you could adopt the school. And I said, sign me up. I'm adopting that
Wow,
school.
that's cool.
And so that's what I did. And that, just knowing that school was getting something from me every month, and then there's all these, you have to be careful, because I'm one of those people that I want to help everybody and everything. And that's never gonna change. But you also have to remember to take your oxygen first, because I literally will give my last oxygen to help somebody else. I'm built that way for some reason.
You have an amazing
So is this
story.
Richard Branson's Virgin Unite?
No, that's something different.
Can you tell us about it?
Went on. Yeah, absolutely. So Virgin Unite is actually really what it says, Virgin Unite, uniting. And basically that takes 10 to 20 entrepreneurs from all around the world. My first trip with Virgin Unite was to Africa, and I got to see hands-on some of the things that these entrepreneurs were doing, and how Richard's Virgin Unite was contributing. And it just opens your eyes to, hey, maybe I can contribute and help. And so I got very involved with Virgin Unite on 2 different times, but, have donated a lot of money to those endeavors as well.
Yeah, it's such a inspiring story. I mean, you've gone from like the high ends, and then you've hit the lows, and then you've gone back up. It's like that little hill that we talked about a little bit ago. It's great, and the thing is that you know how to put your past in the past, and then moving forward, you've given back, and you have a great story, and you're very inspiring to a lot of people out there that that have hit rock bottom in their lives, and that I use the phrase all the time. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not the train coming at you. So definitely,
what is it? What
I
is
wish
it?
I knew.
yeah.
Because it's got dead center on me every day of my life right now. So I wish I knew, but it's there. I'm trying to get it away. Go.
Yes,
Deborah, I do
true
really
that.
appreciate you being on our show today. It's been wonderful having, and we definitely
Yeah,
would
this was
love to have you
amazing.
back on in the future. And
Thank you.
and so
I
forth.
really appreciate it. And I hope that, people get across that, the thing in life is to have a sense of humor, not take yourself so seriously, just to enjoy the ride, because every day it changes. Every day is a new day. Like even today, I had one of the best, most unexpected experiences this morning that I would have never thought. You know what I mean? And it's like,
What happened?
well, I had somebody that reached out and needed help because they have their daughters very suicidal, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't know where to go. And the fact that they called me, to ask me, and and the only reason that happens is because they trust, they know I'm approachable,
Mm-hmm.
and also I've been in those dark places, and I get it. And I know now, amongst anything that I have achieved, or, listen, here's the deal, guys. And y'all know this. I'm preaching to the choir at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know this, and our listeners know this. But you can achieve all, how people say, if I just had $1 million, everything would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? That happened for me, and everything was not okay. If I just lost 100 pounds, I didn't have to do that. But if I just did this, if I just looked a certain way, if I just had the right relationship, it's like all those things are never going to change what's right in front of you, ever. I don't care. And I've experienced it all, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
none
have.
of it. And I'm telling you right now, none of it changed me. None of it made me happier. I didn't go, I've arrived. Life has started. Now I got that check, and now everything's parted, and here comes Deborah Driggs. No, people, didn't happen. And nobody gives a shit. It's like, here's the deal. Because it's about what you give back. It's about what you do. It's about your
exactly.
service. It's about how you contribute, what you give. People always ask me, Deb, I don't know what my purpose is. What's my purpose? And I go, did you take out someone's trash today? And they look at me like I'm crazy because I've done this, okay? I'm only talking from experience. And they go, no. And I go, take out someone's trash. Ask what they need. I promise you, the minute you get out of your head about what you're trying to figure out, or your self-pity, or what you don't have, and you start helping another human being, I promise you, you're going to start feeling better. And those are my last closing words for this crazy show tonight. There we go.
You're amazing. No, you're amazing.
You were awesome. You definitely were awesome. And you know, like I said, we're definitely going to have to bring you back on at a later time. I know that since March, you've done over 50 podcasts and you're doing the whole circuit. And, you know, I'm glad that you made a stop on our show. And I really appreciate the hour that we had with you.
Yeah.
I know it went over a little longer than I expected, but you know what? You had some great words. And
one last thing I want to say is you've done 50 something podcasts and you are still energetic to do this one.
Exactly.
So amazing. Just amazing. I mean, honestly, by 50, I'd be like, what do you guys want to talk about? I was in Playboy, big deal, move on. So amazing. I mean, that
Bada
to
bing,
me
bada
is,
boom.
yeah, as being a host, you know, being a co-host on this show, it's amazing that you have that energy to still do a great podcast interview with people, and God bless you. Great job.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much, Deborah.
Bye, Deborah.
Thank you,
Bye, Deborah. Wow, that was such a great interview. I mean, it was fun. You know, just the fact that she, I mean, like I said, she come from the high, she come from the highlight, you know, stardom and money and all that. And then just totally hit rock bottom and took a different direction in her life instead of going backwards to the old life, you know, and sometimes in life, you know, we have to move forward and not backwards. And that's exactly what she did. And that she had a great story, and she went up the hill and she worked her butt off to get to where she is now. And that is definitely amazing.
I took out someone's garbage today, so I feel okay.
You are amazing.
Hollywood, your thoughts on everything on Deborah?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought she had great
I loved
insight, and I really do feel like she'll be an inspiration. Just this if anybody listens to this podcast that's going through a divorce or going through a hard time, just the fact that people get really low self-esteem during those trials in their life, and just the fact that she was willing to admit that all of her fame before didn't help that in her own experience.
It meant nothing to her in her life at that time.
She had to pick herself up by the bootstraps and go on, just like we all do.
Playboy was just a job. It was just a job.
Like I'm
she
doing
did it
right now. Yes.
It was really
Basically, that's
insightful
what I'm
for me to
doing
hear
right now.
that, and I think it'll be insightful to others too that are in those situations.
Yeah.
So I think this podcast is going to be a really big hit with those that are, you know, she's given us a lot of good insight and a lot of good information that we can take. So yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next guest. She is a indie film producer, director, actor, screenwriter, and let's see, what else are you? Darlene, I know that we botched your name up in the beginning of the show because I'm notorious for doing that with names. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Dalmaceda.
Okay, Dalmaceda.
Yeah, Dalmaceda.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, Jimmy.
I would
I
not
say
have
that
said
all the time. Okay, Jimmy. We'll talk about Jimmy later, but
Oh, okay.
I mean,
exactly.
another Jimmy, not you.
Oh,
Related to my film stuff. Yeah.
So you are, I mean, obviously you've had an interesting journey with your life. You didn't wake up one day and said, I'm going to be a producer, director, an actor, a screenwriter, blah, 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 blah. Where did it begin for you?
It began when I was going to the Art Institute, and I originally wanted to be a web designer, and I took an editing course, and I decided, I want to be a filmmaker now. This is more interesting. And then I was acting in high school, but I came back to it when I moved here.
You took drama class?
Yeah, I took drama class in high school. Yeah. I mean, I was a band.
I think we all took some
first.
type of drama class. I took radio TV, and I know, like, you know, everybody's high school has a little drama class in there.
I was in 3 high school plays, so I know.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I was in theater class in high school, and then a little bit in college, and then I got into a relationship, and you know, life happened, and I wasn't doing acting for a while, and then when I broke up and went out on my own and decided to get back into acting, that was my first I guess professional experience on a movie set was from Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. I was an extra. That was the first time I was on.
We worked on that together.
Wow.
Yeah, we worked on that together. Me and Hollywood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Hollywood and I go way back.
Yeah, that's how we met each other, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went from Mall Cop to, so what made you decide to produce movies, or is there like a big journey between there and then?
Well, I just found over the years that I wanted to regain creative control of my vision, and I had to do it with some kind of money. So the way I've funded my project either is through like self-funding or crowdfunding, like the two trailers I sent you for Stripped and The Auction, which are like twin projects. Like Stripped came first, and The Auction was a spinoff, although technically The Auction is a prequel, even though we thought about it later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I did a crowdfunding campaign to try to get into the Riviera before it was blown up. And unfortunately, I was not able to do that, at least not through legal means.
Right. And so how did you do it?
My friend Austin Abel, he's a documentary filmmaker, and he made a documentary called Cashed Out Casino, which is available on YouTube, about the implosion. Mm-hmm. And so he befriended a security guard, and they snuck in there during the Jason Bourne filming, and they got B-roll of the real hotel that I've used in The Auction, and then also Stripped when those episodes come out. Because my characters, Milo and Lainey, they go through this urban exploration thing to go through the Riviera and explore like all this haunted Vegas stuff in that story.
And I do have the clip here for The Auction that I'm going to go ahead and play. So do you want to talk a little bit about, kind of, talk us up going into the clip of The Auction?
Yeah, so The Auction is a feature film. It follows Milo Cady. He is a security guard, or he becomes a security guard later at the Riviera. But at this point, he's a Vegas historian. He's trying to save the place. And we follow a group of people who go to the liquidation sale to hunt for bargains. Like there's a Latino family, the Gomez family, that hunts for bargains. There's two low-life thieves that go in there that just want to rip off whatever they can. You have Paul Christopher, who's the owner of the place, who wants to demolish it and build a mega resort. And they all are chased by people they think are trying to kill them. They think the hotel is haunted, but there's a twist to it. And so, it all takes place at the liquidation sale at the Riviera before, after the doors are closed. And so it kind of parallels real life, like what happened, because the hotel was open for 3 weeks for the liquidation sale, and it was wide open. And I wish I had an idea to make a movie back then. I didn't. But it would have been perfect just to because it was amazing just to go through like the back of the house and to Frank Sinatra's suite and in the casino cage and just explore all these different places in the hotel. It was awesome, except for the San Remo Tower. We couldn't go in there. They kept that locked up for whatever reason. I don't know why, but yeah, we went through the entire place, just exploring everywhere, just me and my friends, and that's how Austin and we came up with that idea for The Auction. And the actor who plays Milo, Alex Kirsting, he's the one who wrote the screenplay based on my ideas and Austin's ideas.
Okay, so let's go ahead and play that trailer right now here.
Okay.
Billionaire real estate developer Paul Christopher's latest acquisition of the Riviera, an auction, will be held next week to sell off all remaining items in the iconic hotel.
Break out those checkbooks because bidding starts now.
We're trying to save Vegas history. This is the Riviera.
What are we gonna do now, Gus? Rob that place, open to the public, and it looks like they got some good stuff.
I heard a noise in the basement.
Daddy? Honey, ghosts are not real.
Dad? Dad?
Now I'm scared.
right.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm scared.
I mean, the Riviera was a creepy place, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I saw and heard things that were
Really?
Couldn't really,
Wow.
really explain. Yeah, I personally believe in the paranormal. I think it was haunted. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of do and I kind of don't, but yeah, I would think that you would hear things in a place like that. So
Yeah, I mean,
Creepy.
it was a 60-year-old hotel. Yeah.
oh yeah, and there was a lot of shit that went down in that hotel.
Oh yeah,
So-
definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. From the mafia and everything. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a mobbed up place, and I mean, one of the guys like back in the 50s, Gus Greenbaum. I mean, he literally died for the Riviera because the bosses,
Wow.
you know, they got rid of him because he was skimming from the skim, and he had a drug and alcohol problem. So he, you know, the bosses decided he was a liability, and I think they beheaded him and his wife or something in Arizona or something like that.
Oh,
I know
wow.
they killed his sister. They killed his sister-in-law to threaten him to take charge of the Riviera, and then after a while, he just Greenbaum, like his life went downhill, and he bought it. You know.
Where can we see that movie at? Do you know which service carries it right now?
It's not out right now.
Okay.
It's I have to get back to it at some point because it's you know, because of the pandemic and things like that, and also
Right, a lot
because
of things changed.
The
Oh,
funding,
wow.
yeah. The
I was gonna
funding
watch
has
it tonight.
Right?
yeah, unfortunately, it's not available for the public yet. Although we did have a screening, like a rough cut screening a few years ago at the Sci-Fi
Yeah.
Center here in Las Vegas. But yeah, I just, you know, there's just some sound issues to it, and I wanna finesse it a little more. So
Okay. So now you're working on another project right now. It's called Piece of Me. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
yeah, Piece of Me is a murder mystery. It's my character Lisa. She's a germaphobe. She's a control freak. She wears her mask everywhere and her gloves to the point where she wears them to sleep. She even wears a mask at home. She even takes a shower with her mask and gloves. And she encounters two pizza delivery guys from a fictional pizza place called Pizza Me, which is Carmine's Pizza Kitchen in Henderson. One of them is James, played by Benjamin Rodriguez. He's a nerd, a socially awkward guy. He's clueless with women. And the other one is an opposite. His name's Jimmy. He's played by Mikey Diorsi, and he's a smooth-talking playboy. And they both want her because she rejects them both. And along the way, people get killed, and the audience has to figure out who the killer is.
I'm in.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I those things are so freaking addicting. So
I like those whodunits. Those
Yeah.
are always the best.
yeah, oh of course,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's my first time writing a in this genre. I've never done a murder mystery before because I've always done comedy stuff, like dark comedy, like Stripped is a dark comedy, and yeah, so it's the first time that because I hadn't done anything since before the pandemic, and I wanted to get together with some people, like Mikey and Ben. They both go to UNLV, and I've been working with them, and I thought, well, I can do this with the COVID restrictions that we have right now with minimal cast and crew, because we just have a handful of locations, and most of it takes place either at Carmine's or at my apartment. So and there's only like 6, 7, major and supporting characters in the whole story. So it's a very small cast and crew, and
plus your character was perfect. You were safe no matter what, because your character was all masked up and
Right?
gloved up. So you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm good. Let's
good.
shoot.
Right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. I don't have to show, I only have to
Right.
do makeup for the top part of my face.
Exactly.
I wear a mask and gloves the whole time, except for one moment where you see my face unmasked, but but other than that, a lot of the time, I'm masked up and gloved up. So as Lisa, she's a interesting but weird character to play because, I'm so not that person. I'm not a germaphobe. My house is a mess. I'm really bad.
I was just going to ask that. I was going to say, during COVID, were you like Lisa, or were you just the total opposite?
No, I mean, I've worn my mask, out in public because I have to,
Right. But you
things
didn't.
like that.
You weren't coming home and be like, I'm going to wear my mask inside and.
Right? No.
Yeah.
No. Although the part where, those two different guys have been, guys that I've encountered in past relationships or guys that I've dated, then yeah, they're kind of over elaborate parodies of nerdy guys who fall in love with you who are before they even get to know you, or players.
Have you been to the indie film festivals?
Yeah, in the past,
I have,
before the pandemic, yeah. So, like, I've been like.
What was your experience over there? I mean, just checking it out, or did you actually have any of your clips in there?
No, I wish I did. You know, I've submitted to film festivals, but I just haven't gotten in yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I used to go to the Damn Short Film Festival in Boulder City. That was a good one.
Okay.
Or the Nevada Women's Film Festival. I've also been to that one, and I also like seeing more women. Now that Chloe Zhao, I think that's her name. She
Mhm.
won Best Director and also Best Picture at the Oscars this year. So, and there Emerald Fennell, she won Best Screenplay for Promising Young Woman. So we're seeing more female representation at the Oscars, as well as more minorities represented. So that's great to see. Finally, more over the years, there's been more representation of women and people of color.
So where does Darlene see herself down the road? Are you planning on staying in indie movies, or are you looking to try to get into the big picture?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I want to stay. I want to go up the ladder with indie movies and things like that. But yeah, eventually is to make it to Hollywood, to make big projects and film and TV, all that. I think that's what a lot of us dream about, is hitting the big time with our art and having it seen by a mass audience.
And I think that just like how we are with this show, it's like, we're doing this, we're having fun, but yet we're always looking for the big picture. We're hoping to go viral somehow, and everybody catches our show, then, we can go somewhere with it. But, in the meantime, we're enjoying doing what we're doing right now.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
Darlene,
when you do get to Hollywood and you do make your major motion picture, please know that I can play a sexy nurse as well.
Right?
I did want to ask you, what is a lover? Because in 2010, your credit on IMDb says, Tracy, a lover.
Because I was dating somebody back then who was really into Rocky Horror.
Okay.
So all the credits are kind of like mimicking the ones
Gotcha.
in Rocky Horror, like, the criminologist, an expert, whatever, Brad and Janet, whatever their credits were, a something,
right.
Frankenfurter, a doctor, whatever he was,
Yeah. That's
so
funny.
That's why. Oh, well, yeah, that was. I mean, that was.
But see, that's why I love indie projects, because you can do shit like that. You can. I mean, it's you have this more. You have more of an empty canvas where you can do funny things like that, and I think that's great. One last question for me is, I'm going to ask again. Where can we see Piece of Me? Where can we see? When can we see it, or where can we see it?
Oh, it's going to come to iftnetwork.com. They're based out of New York. They're an indie streaming service, and we're still in production with Piece of Me, but I expect for Piece of Me to come out either at the end of this month or beginning of next month.
Nice.
So it's coming out this summer, so pretty soon. Yeah. So the first 30 days to sign up are free on IFT, and then after that, it's $5.99 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we get a percentage of that.
Yeah, well, that's also amazing now too. In 2021, I mean, everything has changed the landscape of how you make pictures and how you. I mean, even this medium, it's crazy because you can do what you want now, and you can find a streaming service that will pick up your vision, your idea, and people can see it. Where I always tell the story of I run this internet radio station, and Roger does, a show every night from 8 to midnight. And I remember being a kid when I wanted to do radio in my room at my parents' house as a 10-year-old kid, faking a radio station in a microphone with a realistic mixer, taping it, and then listening it back and going, God, I wish people could hear that. Well, if that was me now, I could have done that, because the world has opened up all of these possibilities, and it's amazing. And I'm so glad for independent people who are doing these things, because there are avenues everywhere to get your stuff out there. And I admire technology for the ability for creative people who can't get into that huge Hollywood scene yet to get their stuff out there. So yeah, I'll definitely sign up because I'll watch it. I think it sounds like fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it has been fun because, I mean, like you said, everybody loves a good whodunit. Everybody likes to play armchair detective.
A good murder.
Since,
who doesn't like a murder mystery?
Yeah, I'll watch any of them.
And since I'm doing this whole thing about the pandemic about one person who is Lisa, who's a total she's so militant about social distancing and masks, and you have Jimmy, who's a free spirit who doesn't believe in the virus, or he thinks it's just there's the flu. I mean, we don't talk about that anymore. Why do we all have to mask up? Why do we all have to, be 6 feet apart? What is this? What's going on here? What's really happening? And they get into this argument, this debate about masks and stuff. He tries to pick her up, and she tells him, no, just give me my pizza, please, and go. Just leave it on the doorstep and go. And then so that leads me to the forthcoming project that is coming up about Jimmy, which is called Alter Ego. So his character was too good because I really wanted to explore the idea of a ladies' man and humanize him, because sometimes when we see a ladies' man in a TV show or a movie, we see him picking up chicks, having sex with them, and it doesn't explore really the why he is a ladies' man. Why did he become that way? So that's
backstory.
The backstory, yeah. So that's where I go. I was really supposed to do a short, but then it turned into a 75 page feature film because I kept writing and writing and writing. So it's about Jimmy and how he comes to Las Vegas from this small town back east, and he hooks up with this woman named Barbara who becomes his sugar mama. And he was a male escort for about a year.
Total Vegas story. I mean,
he's a male escort for about a year, and then she decides to pay for his living. And after a while, he gets too bored with his comfortable life and decides to become a pizza delivery guy out of boredom when she's out of town.
Wow!
And along the way, he picks up all these women on the job.
The ladies' man.
The ladies' man. So he uses his job as an excuse to pick up women.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jimmy wants to be part of this.
No, I am the furthest thing from a ladies' man. So, although it's funny, I have nephews. One, my nephew, and a nephew-in-law, who both have done pizza delivery. And of course, every time I saw them while they were doing that, I'd ask them, "Hey, did you ever get invited in?" And
right.
I wanted one of them to say yes, and they're both like, no. Now they might be lying to me, but I was always like, that's like a, I don't know, this dark fantasy of my mind is like, okay, you're the pizza delivery man.
I know, like when Mikey was telling his friends about it, they were like, Mikey, are you doing porn now? Like, is this for porn? No.
Because that shit happens. It does happen, but. Yeah.
I'm sure it does happen because it's based on an experience I really had with a Pizza Hut delivery driver, because he tried to pick me up and he was not a ladies' man. He was the nerd, the opposite. He was a socially awkward nerd type.
Wow.
Asking me creepy questions like, hey, so where's the party? Because I ordered extra food that night because I didn't want to cook for a couple days. It was a while before I could go to the supermarket. Maybe I didn't get paid until Thursday or Friday that week. I had to have some extra food. And I'm like, no, it's just me. And he's like, oh, you're alone? Are you married?
Nice.
Asking me these inappropriate questions. And I was like, what does this have to do with my order? Can you just
I'm just trying to order food, damn it.
Right.
Right, exactly. So that scene is in the pilot. So I based that scene off that real guy.
Nice.
That I
Good.
met from Pizza Hut. So that's the basis for the James character that Ben plays. So
have you had any experiences with your side hustle of where somebody went, hey,
one day when I was doing food delivery, this couple invited me to come in and do drinks with them. And I'm going, hold on a second. I'm delivering food. I'm working. I'm driving. And you want me to have drinks with you?
Yeah, there you go.
Nope. I got another order. I got to go.
That was your time.
It was my time.
Yeah.
Man.
All the best stuff is taken from my life. That's the basis for pretty much almost all my projects, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Because, I have so much funny shit that happens to me. So I might as well, just make a fictional narrative out of it. Like Deborah said, if you don't have your sense of humor, you got to have your sense of humor in life.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited especially for A Piece of Me to come out. Can you keep us updated when that happens? Because I definitely want to check that out. And then obviously, the one in the what was it called again? I'm spacing right now. The one in the Riviera. The auction. Yeah. I definitely want to watch that one too, because that one looked. I mean, your trailer looked creepy, so I want to see it.
Thanks. I mean,
he just likes all creepy shit, you know.
I do. I go to bed to Forensic Files every single night. I fall asleep with the TV on to Forensic Files. Yeah, it's I have weird dreams now. So
sorry, Darlene. I appreciate you being on the show with us today. Thank you very much, and definitely keep us updated on when you're released. We'll actually post it on our Facebook page and a link to the ift.com site and promote your movie on our thing. So thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then before we go, it's just we also have a crowdfunding campaign that we're doing right now called Buy Me a Coffee. Like if you go to buymeacoffee.com/Ace Vegas Studios, there's some rewards there you can earn that are tied in with Piece of Me, and I'm going to be adding some more rewards in the future. So we have things that you can social media shout out, t-shirts, stickers.
Nice.
Okay. I'll put the link on I'll put the link on our info of this episode.
Yeah, sounds good. So we're working with that, and also with Carmine's Pizza Kitchen. Anybody's watching from Las Vegas, Henderson area, you should go check them out. They've been around since 1976, and they've allowed us to shoot there for nothing. Nice. They've been really gracious to us. Yeah, the owner, Frank Vento, is a really cool guy. He used to be an actor. He went to Juilliard. So I'm working with some amazing, talented people right now. And, that's all I got. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, although I'm on Instagram as DDNLV. The rest of it, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm on there as Ace Vegas Studios. So follow me.
You have a link tree?
Twitter. Yeah, I have a link tree, so I could send you that.
Yeah, send me the link tree that has all your links, and I'll post it.
On my social media. All right. Yes. Well, thanks, Roger, Jimmy, Star, Hollywood. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Darlene.
Thanks, Darlene.
Well, that was awesome. Definitely want to go see the movie.
Yeah.
I've never been into the indie films, but it sounds like it'd be a good movie to watch.
I've watched a lot in my life. They're definitely interesting. Because again, they have that creative freedom to where, some suit isn't going, hey, I don't like that scene, change it, So I'm definitely going to watch them because I like that kind of stuff. First of all, I like the independent stuff, but I also like what she's making. It sounds very interesting.
Right. Definitely. So we'll definitely have Darlene's movie on the Facebook page as soon as it is released and everything.
Awesome.
So anyhow, I do want to thank you all for joining us on Sunday night, our new day, same time, just different day. Okay. So every Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Star, Hollywood, Jimmy, do you have any final departing words? Okay, so that's what I thought. Anyways,
ChicagosVarietyStation.com. ChicagosVarietyStation.com. Listen to Roger 8 to midnight, Monday through Friday. He does a fun job, and I understand
Chicago time.
Chicago time, Central time, 8 to midnight Central time, and I understand he does the shows naked. So listen to that. You'll love it. Roger's awesome.
I just don't turn the webcam on, that's all.
No. Nobody wants to see that.
All right, so I do want to thank you guys all for joining us today. We'll be back next Sunday with another fun, exciting episode, and who knows who we're going to bring in. Thank you, Star. Thank you, Hollywood. Thank you, Jimmy, Darlene, and also Deborah. Thanks for being on the show with us. Until next time, everyone, this is Roger the Wild Child, over and out.
Roger the Wild Child Show!
See you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.